Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to another review video here for Fear the Walking Dead Season 7, Episode 11. I'm also going to combine a trailer breakdown for Episode 12 here because I kind of fell behind on some videos here, and so I want to catch up on some of that. And plus, not a lot happened in Episode 11, and it doesn't seem like there's going to be a lot that happens in 12, although more so than what happened in the first 3 here for Part 2. So yeah, obviously before going any further, make sure to be a subscriber if you do want more Walking Dead content like this. I took the last week off, so I apologize for that. I just, honestly, mostly I just kind of wanted to take the last week off. There's not too much going on right now. I'll get back on doing some videos because there has been some updates on things regarding The Walking Dead Part 3 or Season 11 Part 3 and some stuff like that. So I'll do some more videos on that. Once we get into May here, I mean, after this Sunday, after Episode 12, we're going to have a clearer picture on when Madison's going to be returning. And, a lot of people are excited for that. So, things are starting to gear up here quite a bit. It's just, yeah, that's kind of why I took the last week off. Cause I was like, I feel like, out of any time throughout the next however many months, really up until Christmas, now's kind of the time to do it. Maybe I can take another week off, say like in July, right before Comic-Con, but maybe not even then. I can't really do it right before Comic-Con because a lot of the excitement is sort of the build up to that moment, right? But anyways, let's talk about episode 11 here of season 7. So this episode is titled Ophelia, and I will say I kind of liked the episode a little bit more than 9 and 10, just a little bit more, and it was really mostly because of the Daniel aspect to it. I thought it was actually kind of entertaining a little bit. Like I know looking back at it, they definitely did some stuff where they set up the story, I think, in some interesting ways. We'll talk about that in a second. But I think the Daniel aspect to it was interesting, to actually do that with the character, to make the character, really unable to do things by himself and just really believing anything, right? Like he completely believed Luciana and Arno, that Ophelia was alive. Like he'll just believe it. Like you're able to trick him that easy. And that's such a crazy thing to do for Daniel when he's the person that you could never trick before, right? Like, or I guess outsmart is a better way to say it. You could never outsmart Daniel. He was somebody that was, like he said, he was either a CIA operative before, or he was trained to be one, or he was trained by somebody who was. Like this is somebody who, and I get it, in a sense, just getting older, those things are going to happen. So I do get it, but it was interesting to see the decision to do that and just how the character sort of, he kind of reminded me of old Daniel, to be honest, making jokes about certain things and how ruthless he was, like this was Daniel back in season 1 and 2. He was a lot like the Daniel we saw in this episode. And it's been a while since we've seen that, but it was just kind of crazy to see the character go through all of that. And in the end, he's still kind of like that. And I think that's where it does get a little interesting. Like when we actually look at where the episode ends, Luciana decides, what? Daniel did all of that. He was able to actually help us in all of this because he believed that Ophelia was still alive and in that boat. And because of that, like his memory was actually like there. And, but I don't know if that was really the right decision there. Like, obviously for Luciana to do that, that's definitely really bad. Like to do that to Daniel. Poor Daniel. Like he says at the end there, like, if you're lying about this to me and this all ends up being a lie, I think this might be what breaks me. So I'm kind of worried about that. When you think of Strand and Daniel, those two characters were pretty close together and at this point are kind of bonded together, right? I think since like season 3, maybe 2 or 3 around there. And, obviously a lot of us think that Strand could die here in season 7. I wonder if Daniel could also be a death, right? Because there's no way Strand is going to be the only character that dies, which obviously would be tragic because, we all love Strand, but he's also a villain now. And so you kind of don't like him as well. So again, overall tragic, but there's also, I think, going to be some heartbreak, right? With Daniel dying and then, Madison returning. There's also that there where it's kind of exciting. So I think it's going to be kind of a bittersweet finale, or at least last 2 or 3 episodes here for season 7. But it's interesting with Daniel. I'll say that. I don't know where they're going to go here. I don't know if Luciana, her thinking on this whole thing makes a lot of sense, though. I'll say that. Like, I don't know if Daniel really is the key to succeeding here. I think there's a way you can do it without Daniel. Like, you just go there and you can take the tower. You have the weapons. You can do it. So, I'm really going to be looking for a specific thing that Daniel does that actually helps them out in a crazy way where I'm like, this character wouldn't, or like no other character would ever think of that, right? Like I'm really going to be looking for that in the next couple of episodes, or at least whenever the showdown actually happens. Because it has to be something very specific that I'm like, okay, yeah, that, that makes a lot of sense. Luciana was smart to do that, because literally only Daniel could be the person that would do that, right? And I really wonder if it kind of just comes down to the fact that Daniel's like, I want to have a meeting with Strand, and Strand obviously will take that meeting, right? Because it's Daniel, right? So I wonder if it's going to come down to that, but we'll have to wait and see. Overall, the episode I thought was, an average episode, 6 out of 10. I would say nothing too amazing. It wasn't like a great episode. I was entertained. I wasn't bored. Though I do understand, if you're not really a fan of Fear the Walking Dead, I do understand how it would be hard to get into the show right now. Season 6, I think it would be really entertaining, but season 7 definitely has been very slow and has sort of returned to a lot of what made Fear not that great in season 4 and 5. I think what it has going for it is Madison's return. And the fact that it's sort of, there's still some story elements from when Fear was really good in season 6, right? So yeah, that's why I would say season 7 is not as bad as 4 and 5. It's an average season overall. There's been nothing too exciting about it. There's been episodes that have been good here and there, but we'll have to wait and see where this is building to. Obviously, Madison's return, all of that's going to be really exciting. I just hope that we get somewhere very soon. I mean, they did do something really interesting in this episode though, with Wes sort of turning on everyone. And I hope it's not in a way where Wes is like, just like going in there and then just faking the whole thing, right? And all along, he's actually on Morgan's side. I don't really like that, because it's kind of what John Dory Sr. is doing. I would like it if Wes is actually like, you know what, Luciana and everyone else, you guys are all kind of messed up. I actually kind of agree with what Strand is doing. So I'm going to join him, because that's my best chance of survival. So I'm just going to join him, right? I think that could be smart for the character. So I'm excited to see where that's going to go, because I will say that's kind of shocking. He just left, and yeah, I mean, I guess he's joining Strand's tower now, right? And when you look at the episode 12 trailer, it doesn't seem like not a lot happens. It seems like what they're going to be doing is, or what Strand is going to be doing is testing a lot of them. And I'm excited for this episode, because Strand's a really great character. He hasn't been in the last 3. So I think actually having Strand in this episode is going to actually raise sort of that, that quality of entertainment, because Strand is just he's such a fun character. He's really well written. I think Coleman Domingo does such an awesome job as Strand, where he's so captivating to watch in every scene. So I'm really excited for that. I think that this episode could actually be the best one so far here in Part B, which I know isn't really saying a lot, but I'm definitely looking forward to it. To be honest, like right now, it's kind of hard to get excited for Fear the Walking Dead, but for this one here, I'm actually a little excited for it, at least just to see where they're going here. We haven't gotten Alicia yet since episode 9, so I do think episode 13 is likely going to be the one where we see her trying to make contact with somebody. I believe she will, and then maybe there's something with Madison in that episode, but it might just be 14. And then in 14 and 15 is where we see Madison actually return. We see, how she contributes to the story, and then the showdown happens in 16, basically. And that's kind of where we're going. So I'm kind of excited, because, again, the first 3, not a lot happened. 9, I guess you could argue, was sort of, I guess was more crucial. 10 and 11, at least episode 10 was kind of pointless, in my opinion. 11 was not as pointless, but it definitely wasn't that exciting. 12, I think, could start to turn things in the right direction. And then 13, when Alicia makes contact with people, I think that's going to be really interesting. And then, 14 and 15, Madison's return. 16, the big showdown. I'm looking forward to seeing where this is going to go here and sort of ending the storyline here. And then hopefully they can make Fear Season 8 just a lot better in general. Because Season 6 I really enjoyed. Honestly, Season 6 was a really great season. I don't know what happened here with Season 7. Things just got so slow. And I really wonder if it's because they didn't really know where they were going here. Like Season 6, I think what made it so exciting was the fact that they had something to work towards, basically. Like they had this goal in mind of like we got to stop this nuke, or there was this nuke going off, and everything was just so crazy. It was just so fun to watch that story arc. And then when the nuke actually went off, it was so exciting. The whole thing was just fun right from the beginning, and I think things have just sort of changed a lot. And I don't know if season 6 maybe had a higher budget. Maybe it cost a lot to do all that. I have no idea. I don't know anything, but it just seems really weird that season 7 so far just seems so dead. Like there's not a lot of, interesting locations. And I'm just really sick of the yellow color tone or the yellow color grading. Like I used to complain about this with Fear the Walking Dead like years ago. And then that went away in season 4 and 5. Or kind of, I guess, later on in 4, but mostly in 5. But then I was like, you know what? In those seasons, though, it was like really gray after. Like they really, it was almost teetering on black and white, right? Which I wish that they would have done. Like I even said that back then. Like just make the season black and white and watch it like that because that would be really cool. Or just do normal colors. But they never did that. And then in season 6, I guess in season 6 they did. And that's why season 6 I think was just more enjoyable. I do think it adds to it. It makes it not as boring. Whereas in season 7, it was like that right from the beginning. And then it adds this element of like dread, I would say. And so it's hard to watch, right? But so like for me, I kind of ignore a lot of it and I can find some entertainment in it. I'm interested in where the story is going. I just hope for season 8, things change a little bit here and some of this nuke storyline goes away. Because it was exciting, the whole thing. But ever since it happened, it hasn't really been as strong, I would say. But definitely let me know what you guys thought of episode 11 and your excitement, if you do have any excitement, or I guess mostly your thoughts and your predictions for episode 12. And then when do you think Madison's going to return? Is it going to be in 14 or 15? I still believe it's going to be in 14. I think it's going to be before episode 16. But I do think in 14, we're going to see her. It might not be anything too crazy. I think one of those episodes is basically going to be a flashback episode where we see what happened to Madison. And then just kind of the showdown, basically, right? So anyways, I'm going to leave it here. Definitely post all your thoughts down below. Hope you guys all enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.